that, and now we do it like this.
What's up? This is Whiz.
And Shellz.
Back with another couple commentary. Right now we're tackling one of my wife's favorite games, one of my favorite games also, Child of Light, which is literally a game that is poetry in motion.
That's right.
Sit back, relax, and let's talk about the game. First, let's talk about the story. How do you feel about it?
So, personally, this is one of my favorite storylines I've encountered in a game. I love the idea of the daughter saving the father, being trapped in this mystery dream world, going from child to adult, encountering all these different characters and trying to overcome whatever is holding her back to get her back to her family. It's a really, really interesting story.
Also endearing.
A lot of symbolism.
True.
It pulls at the heartstrings.
It does. I really enjoy that it uses so many RPG tropes of the big spider enemy, the fairy tale world, but it subverts your expectation. There's like a part with the entire community is turned into like crows.
Yeah, exactly.
But the crows are like smoking cigars and acting like regular people.
They are.
I really think the game has a lot of subtle humor, and I enjoy the story as well. It's really cute and really. It like most RPGs, it starts off small and more of a familiar insular story, then it just grows and gets bigger and bigger.
That's one of my favorite things. So Whiz can tell you I have like zero patience.
None.
Let's
go to zero real quick.
So Child of Light did a really good job of like capturing my attention in the beginning of the game. We went directly like into the gameplay after a little bit of backstory, and you're in control most of the time. I like how witty the characters are, and even when you like don't do what they want you to do when they want you to do it, there's a little bit of sass in between the character talk. I like that too. Like they know that you are controlling Aurora, but they leave you subtle hints when you're kind of straying from the path, and it still gives you the freedom to control the story how you want it to be controlled.
Awesome. And next week, let's talk about, I think the most obvious thing about the game, the most obvious strength. It is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, the art style, definitely. The watercolors are amazing. The design of the characters, both your allies and the monsters, are really innovative, I think. Some of those monsters look pretty darn scary, especially when they're just floating around in the atmosphere. But everything blends in. I like when you discover new areas of the map that it feels like a new area of the map. It can be very linear when you're doing these kind of scroll by games. But they do a really good job of communicating the different storylines and how great this world is.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with this presentation. Like the soundtrack is, I think, almost second to none.
I love how the soundtrack works in with like the cutscenes.
Yeah.
So the way that the color hits the page, the way that the music unfolds, and the character
it feels
dialogue.
Like it feels like a storybook. Like you're turning pages of a novel, of a graphic child beautiful novel.
It does. I really like that aspect of it. The soundtrack also does it interacts really well with the characters when they're talking, because I don't know if you guys have played it, but most of the characters speak in rhymes. John's favorite character has a little issue.
Everybody speaks in prose and beautiful poetry, except for my favorite character, Rebella. She doesn't quite understand how to rhyme. And the funny part is, what's the name of that little fairy?
Ignoculus?
Yeah, I can't say his name. I love how he corrects her. And,
oh, yeah,
and
he
puts
does.
That's so funny.
It's really cool because when you reconnect her with her brother, he finishes her rhymes too. So it's like it's a story within a story that definitely keeps you captivated in all the characters.
And that's so impressive because it did something that I didn't think was possible when I was younger. I grew up playing turn-based RPGs. And they all were at least 60 hours.
Right.
So I didn't think a good one could happen in 15 hours.
In 12 to 15, right. And not only that, but you have like blights for all of your characters.
Yeah.
So you're doing side missions like Mass Effect 2 style, trying like getting all these people in. I mean, obviously, it's not as deep as Mass Effect 2. But the idea he did. But the idea that every time you meet a new friend, you have to do them a solid, and then they're with you.
Yeah.
You know, they choose to be with you of their own free will. They're on your team, ride or die. I really like that aspect, especially in 12 to 15 hours. I mean, some characters I didn't like. Robert, a mouse, I didn't really play with him that much. I dabbled him a little bit.
I liked his backstory, the unrequited love and whatever, but
that
I didn't.
Dude is soul searching. Let me tell you,
he's hurting. But
I do like how the characters interact and develop together.
Now, when they have like the superhero list, when it has like if you could pick one superpower, I always pick flying. I don't teleportation's awesome, or controlling weather, or being able to throw fireballs. But the one power I've always wanted, I'm afraid of heights, would be the ability to fly. And this game gives you that ability so early, and I cherish it. I loved it.
Honestly, if I could fly like Aurora, I would. But that's not what I picture. I'm thinking Superman, bugs in the face kind of thing. So, but Aurora, she flies so gracefully. It feels right. Like those controls are just perfect the way they did that.
And the way your hair flows and
not only that, like the red fades into the wind, like it.
It feels like it's a beautiful painting. It's one of the best examples, I think, in terms of video games or art. This game is not just poetry with the storytelling, because everything is written in prose, except for Rebella. But it's also poetry in motion.
No,
it's a fairy tale in motion, which I think is awesome.
I love it too because, like I said earlier, I have no patience, and when you fly, you can zoom, and I love that part.
You can turn on the jets.
I like the flying aspect too because it isn't an open world RPG, but it feels like one. I think simply because I can fly around, and the map, it goes up and across. So I'm trying to hit every single part of this map, every inch of that screen. They have a ton of chests, a ton of loot that you can find.
My only gripe is that why is there no platinum trophy attached to this game?
Yeah, we talked about this a lot when the game first came out. I personally don't need it because the game
I don't need
fulfilled
it, but
me.
I want people to know I 100% at this game.
Yeah.
And it's big enough, it's grand enough, and it's good enough to get a trophy. Look, PlayStation, get on that.
Well, yeah, I guess. The trophy would have been a really cool aspect because they kind of have a lot of collectibles in terms of like advancing your skill tree and then the oculi. I think that's how you say it, crafting.
That's one of my small complaints is I think you level up because it's such not a short game, but it's short for in terms of RPGs.
Right.
You level up so much that
it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's kind of tedious, especially there's such small miniature. Oh, this is the magic defense. This is the health defense.
I know.
You do it almost after every other fight. And it kind of slows the flow down. That's a small complaint. I kind of let them stack
up. Like when I got 2 or 3 points and I go spin up, then I always feel I'm cheating myself out of a better fighting experience.
That's true.
It gets old, not really.
We gotta talk about that fighting experience. I think it's one of the best like turn-based RPG systems ever. It has like an old school 90s Final Fantasy V RPG system, but it throws in like a game my wife hasn't played before called Grandia 2, where it had an active turn-based parts in it. Like if you can time down where your enemy's attacking and have them get attack interrupted, it makes you feel really, really smart, really intelligent.
I mean, I love the fighting style, so you're right, I really haven't played too many turn-based games, but this one was really easy for me to understand. I like the bar at the bottom. I like having so much impact over the speed of the fight and the order of the fight.
And the perfect game design to me is it's easy to understand, but it's difficult to master. It's not overly convoluted or has crazy nuances, but there's some depth, and there's a lot of things you have to learn, and you get better and better over time.
Yeah, we were talking before we made the video, so my favorite duo is Nora and Finn. Nora, she's awesome because she can slow enemies down, make you move faster, boost up your allies, and Finn can almost account for every type of enemy. But it is a lot of trial and error trying to figure out what's most effective against your enemies, and that can be difficult in crunch time.
It's hard to know looking at the enemy, knowing, hey, this is going to be weak to this is weak to fire. It's hard to know what the enemy's weak to just by looking at it. It doesn't have like an indicator like Pokemon. There's typings.
Right.
You know what typing conjures what typing. In this game, it doesn't give you that.
No, there's no codex or point of reference.
You just got to figure it out, which I don't mind, but it does make you it makes some of the. If you go on a higher difficulty, it makes some of the battles, if you don't know what you're going into, makes them difficult.
So that's how I feel about the boss fights. Take me forever because most of my attacks were ineffective. Yeah. So it's a lot of switching out characters, trying to figure out what works for you. But overall, I really, really did like that fighting style. I never shied away from enemies. Every time I found one, I hopped in on that dude, try to get that little advancement in the combat. So, I mean, I really liked the grind with that XP too, fighting those enemies. It was fun combat.
One of my favorite things, I got to interject real quick. I love the way Aurora swings that little sword when she's a child.
Yeah.
That is the cutest thing ever.
I feel it's a little all of her might.
All her might. She feels a little dangerous though, because I'm like, sword away.
I love it. I feel so empowered just watching her grow
totally
up.
Awesome.
She does not shy away when there's danger. She's just like, bring it on, enemy. I see you.
We're not letting our son get a sword anytime soon. He's not coordinated.
No, who knows who he'd be fighting?
Us.
Well, overall, I really loved playing the game. It was definitely one of I'd play it again. I would that was a good 12 or 15 hours.
This was your second time playing.
It was
playing through. I think it's an awesome game too. It's it really changed my perceptions. I thought small-mindedly that an RPG couldn't be this short, like a turn-based one, to be good. And it was like, no, you're wrong, John. Pigs have flown.
Yeah, literally in the game. But you need to download this game. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure that anybody who likes RPGs or the fighting turn-by-turn
Anybody who
style.
thinks video games are more than just button mashers, if you like video games of art, if you like stories, if you like
an awesome soundtrack,
oh my
funny
goodness,
characters,
that soundtrack,
a relaxing
characters,
time.
this is a great game to pick up, and it's really inexpensive. And on top of that, it's one of the shining examples when Ubisoft did something right. It made its own UB art division, and we need more games like this. So I say support it.
So go download it. Go buy it right now. You'll definitely have fun. Let us know what you thought of the game and who your favorite character was.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Check you on the next time. Peace.
Like, comment, subscribe.
And join the nation.
No, no, no.